Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. Hope you guys are doing well. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. We're going to be making three what I'm calling classic Christmas cards that you're going to get some ideas of how to make some layouts and how to make some great cards that will be good to make multiples of too. My name is Lori DeGroot from Loritamarie Crafts, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Calgary, Alberta. And I like to come here live so that I can share tips, techniques, ideas, inspiration with you to help you take your paper crafting supplies and turn them into beautiful projects. So this week has been crazy in my craft room. I'm doing my little Christmas retreat called Make It Merry. And this is one of the, this way, one of the projects we'll be making. So I had to like clean like this part of my craft room so that you can see the chaos back there. But it's been fun making all the favors and all the fun things that go along with the class. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. The tutorial will always be available if you're looking for some fun Christmas project ideas. And I also have my November Stampin' Crate class, and today is the very last day to sign up. And this one, I went with something non-Christmassy with one of the November online exclusives because it's going to make a great gift. Or it could be something that you do like over the Christmas break when you're looking for something fun to do. You know how you just want to like it's cozy, cold if you're living here and you're looking for something fun to do. I want to just show you the paper. So I'm going to be featuring the Hobby Haven Designer Series paper. Let me just show you. So I don't know if you've seen this yet, but it's so cute and it's like different hobbies, obviously. So even like a spa day, like spa stuff, reading, baking, plants and hanging out, keep going the wrong way, and sewing and stuff like that. And it's got really pretty color combinations. So with my Stampin' Crate classes, you get half a pack of the DSP, and that one comes with die cuts too, which is fun. You get coordinating cardstock. So let me just show you some of the pretty colors. Trying to, and petal pink is in there. So you get a sampling of cardstocks to help you create your projects. Everything is cut and prepped for you, and so that you can just have the joy of putting it together, and then you get to do all the stamping too. And I recommend the bundle this time because it matches. It's so cute. It matches the dies. So I got everything apart here because life has been a little crazy, but you make cute little envelopes to go with it. And these are what I'm calling elaborate fun fold cards because they kind of flip open different ways. But we're going to make custom envelopes for each one. And each one has its own color combos. So you can learn kind of how to use the different colors with the different DSP. And so then you can tweak it to like the person that you want to give it to. So this one kind of opens, and then it's got another fun surprise in there. And then the second one, different color combination. We've got a different little like envelope. Hi there. And this is a cute, I can never remember how to open it backwards, but it kind of like tucks in and then it's got a fun thing and then it's got another little surprise on the inside. So you're going to make those fun fold cards plus the custom envelopes. You get all the stuff. I can ship to anywhere in Canada, or you can grab a tutorial. And those will be going out next week. And today is the very last day to sign up. Oh, and these are the embellishments. Look how cute. This is my new favorite ribbon. Have you seen this chevron ribbon? It's so cute. So that's all the stuff. All right, let's get to the crafting. I am having a day that feels a little crazy. So these are going to be good cards to make to help us settle into our day here. So let's come down to the craft desk. Today I am featuring just something kind of classic. So this stamp set, just called Merry Christmas. And at first I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of a cute font. And I didn't get it right away. And then I finally did get it. And then I didn't have time to make cards with it. And this week, no, I'm like, this is the week I'm going to make cards with this. It is so pretty. It is like such a nice big size. So this is what you can see I've been using it with red. This is a nice big size. And so what I wanted to do is create cards that had great layouts that are easy to copy, that you could easily tweak to the DSP that you have or the colors that you love. And it really features like a nice big bold sentiment, so it kind of takes center stage. And we're going to be doing some heat embossing too, and I'll show you every card is going to have a different color for heat embossing, so we can kind of see what it looks like different ways instead of just stamping it. So does anybody have this stamp set? Has anybody created with it yet? Are you done all your Christmas cards? I'm just hoping with all the things I've been making for samples, I'm going to have enough. I haven't even thought about it yet. I better get with it, right? All right, so let's take our paper trimmer And I'm just going to cut our card base. So because I wanted to keep these simple, they're all going to have thick basic white card bases. Again, that's just another way to make it more simple if you're making multiples. I always like to choose like 3 or 4 designs for my Christmas cards, so I'm not making like 20 of one card. And so these will be good ones to copy for that purpose because they're all a little different, but will be easy to recreate. Okay, so you cut your cardstock in half, 5.5 by 11, score it in half at 4.25. And I'm going to be featuring the Christmas Tags and More designer series paper, which is, you're all done putting labels on now. That's impressive, Terry. Good for you. This Christmas Tags and More DSP has been my fave. It came back in stock and I see it's on low inventory. So I would say grab it while you can. And so we're going to be using that. And this is going to be real traditional kind of red and green classic color combos today. So for this one, I've got a piece of basic white. Nope, this is red. This is real red. And I've got it cut to 5.5 by 3.5. And then I've got a piece of DSP that's 5.5 by 3. And when this paper comes in 6 by 6, and so I like to find ways to use it so it makes sense to cut a 6 by 6 so that you're not just getting like one card out of one piece of DSP. So when you cut it into 3, then obviously you can get 2 cards out of the one sheet, which is kind of nice. So we're just going to go ahead. I've got a glue dot stuck to me here. I feel like that's going to stick to everything now. Okay, so we're just going to use our seal and put this on. And then this is the most simple card. And then every card will kind of be stepped up a little bit. And so we're just going to go edge to edge, leaving that red border on either side. Okay, and then we're going to attach this to our card. Woo, aggressive, too aggressive. Sorry about that. And this is edge to edge again to your card. Okay, so just kind of a classic look there. And then we're going to grab a piece of basic white to do our stamping on. And we are going to stamp in real red, but we are going to emboss this with clear embossing powder. So I did this on a card on my blog recently, and a lot of people didn't know that you could use your embossing powder with something other than your Versamark ink pad. So I thought that I would just share this on the live today so that we could see it in action. So when you use it with your classic ink pad, you just want to make sure your ink pad is nice and juicy because obviously naturally it's not as juicy as a Versamark, and you need something obviously for your embossing powder to stick to. And you definitely don't want to let it dry. You want to get your powder on right away. So make sure that you're prepped and ready to go. But what it's going to do is it just kind of like makes your color a little more rich, if I could say that. And of course, it looks a little bit shiny. So, always, in the video, it doesn't always show up as good as it does in real life. But it's just like a way just to step up. Instead of just stamping it in real red, then you've kind of got that stepped up version that's a little bit fancy. And I find when you emboss, it seems intimidating, but once you do it, you realize how easy it is. The more you do it, of course, the more easy it becomes. And you'll want to do it on all your cards, basically. So it becomes kind of addicting. So I've got this little embossing buddy here, which has a little powder in it, and you just rub it over so that the powder doesn't stick anywhere where you don't want it to stick. And this piece is, I forgot to write down all my dimensions, so that wasn't very good. I'm going to have to double check here. I think it's 5 by 2 3/8. Okay, so I've re-inked my red pad recently so that just for this occasion here, so it should be nice and juicy, hopefully, although I have been using my real red a lot lately. So you want to make sure you ink it up real nice. And we're going to just center it onto this white. And I found with this stamp, I had to make sure I was really pushing in the middle because a few times I wasn't getting all the ink to transfer. So I wasn't getting that middle section. So we'll peel off. See, I still didn't get it kind of all the way. Then we'll put our clear embossing powder on. So our embossing powder now comes in a pack of 3 white, clear, and black. So we'll put this on, just lightly tap off the excess. You don't want to tap off too much. And then we're going to heat set it with our heat tool. Oops. And so with the heat tool, you just push it up to number 2, and then it just takes a second. And I might need the tweezers. So let's grab the tweezers. So this little tray, the buddy, the tweezers, and a paintbrush all come together to give you a little embossing kit to get going. Okay, you kind of see there. You just got to give it a second to keep going, get going. And then once it turns back to red, nice and shiny, you know that it's done. There we go. Okay, let's see how much we can show you on the. Well, you can kind of see that it's shiny, right? And it just makes it pop a lot more than if you just stamp it and leave it. So it's got like that shiny look to it, which I love. So bring our card back. And of course, you can do this with any color, right? And then you can get an embossed look with no matter what color of ink that you want to use. And I'm just going to mat this on garden green. That's 1/8 of an inch bigger. So it is 5 1/8. I'm sorry, I didn't write down my 5 1/8 by 2.5. And we're going to put this on with our seal. The white onto the green. If you don't like working with 8-inch mats because they're kind of skinny, they can be fussy, then you just go up to 1/4 of an inch and then it'll be easier. And we're going to put this on with dimensionals just to make it pop out a bit. When I've been prepping for a class, I go through so many dimensionals. All I have is like almost empty sheets. All right, so we'll put on some of those. And then because I wanted to keep these simple, so when you want to make multiples for Christmas, you don't want them to have 5,000 layers on them. And I'm definitely a person who loves all the layers, and I find it hard to stop. Okay, we're just going to center this. So I try to stop myself for these cards and to keep them simple. So I'm just adding one element. So what we're going to add is this cute little bow that's from the pattern tags dies in the catalog, and we're going to cut out in this velvet. I love the velvet paper. I don't know if you've tried it, but it comes in red, green, and white, and it's so fun. And we're going to attach it to an adhesive sheet, and I'm just looking for my scissors. There they are. So adhesive sheets come in, I think you get 12 sheets in a pack, and the size of each sheet is 6 by 12. And you just want to cut your piece just slightly smaller than the paper that you're using. And you can just keep cutting it to the size that you need. And so I'm just going to put it on the back. So it's sticky on both sides. So you just want to get it going. If it's hard to get going, you can use take your pick tool. Which kind of helps. There is like slits in the paper, but you don't always get it depending on how you cut your adhesive sheet up. Okay, so then we'll attach it to the back. Now it's going to turn my little bow into a sticker. And I like to do this when the die is really small so I don't have to fuss with glue or anything. And we'll grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, put the velvet down, the bows, and lay on top and run this through. Okay. There, and that's the fussiest part of this card. Trying to keep it simple. Okay, put it down there. So this little bow does have a tiny little center, but I just ignore it every time because it's too small. It's too small. So you don't have to worry about it. Let's just get those out. Okay, so it has two pieces, two loops. This is the tiny little piece that you can use as the center of your bow if you want. And then I'm just going to peel the backing off the individual loop. And again, you can use take your pick tool to get going. It's usually not that hard. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to put the loops to kind of point up, and we're going to overlap them together like that. And then we'll peel the backing off the second one, which is stuck really good today. There we go. Grab our card again. And I'm just going to set mine up in the corner here. And if you want, you can add a little gem to it. So if you've got the traditional sequins gems, and you can add one of those in there. I don't know if these are back in stock yet. These have been super popular because they got all the classic colors in it. So you could do gold if you've got a gold gem or anything that you want to put in there is going to look good. All right, so this is it. That's the basic layout. So you've got like your background cardstock. You've got a little bit of DSP in there. You've got your sentiment, which is the star of the show. So when you've got a nice big bold sentiment like that, then it makes designing your card a little easier, right? Because it's taken up all the real estate on your card. So you don't have to worry about die cutting a lot of other pieces. So that is our first card. So our second one, we're going to do a couple different things. So we're going to use the same basic white card base. And this time I'm going to do a different color combination with green. And I'm going to add in basic beige to keep this one a little more neutral and soft. And when I'm putting like cardstock just on a card front like this, I don't usually like to leave it plain. I love to emboss it with an embossing folder. So that's what I'm going to do. So instead of using DSP, you can use cardstock, emboss it with a folder, and then you've got all this kind of rich texture on your card with kind of little effort. So we need the bottom platform 1. And the embossing folder I'm going to use is called the Traditional Wreath. So it's a 6x6 folder. And so I'm going to take my basic beige, which is cut to 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm just going to center it because obviously the paper is smaller than the full wreath. So we'll just kind of center it so that you get a little bit of the wreath kind of all around the card. Then you need your plate 4 for a 3D embossing folder. Put your hinge side in first, make your little sandwich, and then you run it through your machine. Okay. And we'll grab that. And we can, there we go. Ooh, isn't that pretty? I love this one. So let's just start. We're going to put this on. I just use Seal. You could step it up with Steel Plus if you want, or if you're a liquid glue person, you can use your liquid glue. I love tape adhesives. Just easier. And I never have sticky fingers that way. So we're going to put that on as the base of our card. And then the pattern of DSP that I chose, this is the same Christmas Tags Designer Series paper. So the plaid is on the back. So I'm going to use this, and it is 5 1/2 by 2. And I'm going to add a little bit of that velvet in again. So this is the green. And the velvet just adds a little richness because it's a deeper color. So it's not really a particular Stampin' Up! Color, is just green, but it kind of goes with everything, and then it just adds another like rich layer. So this is 5 1/2 by 1/2 inch. And so we'll put the DSP on first. And it's going to be kind of here. So about like 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom of the card. And what we're doing is we're creating something for the sentiment to sit on. It needs a home, right? So it's not just floating on your card. It needs something to land on. So we're creating a little base for it. The velvet. And we'll just layer that up on the bottom. And the pattern is going to help me hopefully to get it straight onto the card. So there's the velvet. And this time I'm going to stamp the sentiment onto soft sea foam. So this color is in the DSP, not in this pattern, but it kind of looks nice together. And I'm going to have to clean my stamp off here. So I'm just going to use my Simply Chamois, which is like super red from all the Christmas. So you just use your chamois. It's supposed to get dirty like this. And then you just rinse it out until the water runs clear. If you've been using some really like dark colors, and then it's good to go. Next time you need it. Okay, so make sure I got all that red off there. I'm just gonna stamp it a few times. Yeah, okay, so we're good to go. So now I do need the Versamark. And this time we are going to emboss in gold. And I'm just gonna use a scrap paper this time so that I don't have to clean my tray out, because the gold will kind of get everywhere. So I just have an old embossing powder. You can see from the the blue label, I've had it for a while. So apparently I need to emboss in gold more often. And so our embossing powder comes in basics, like I said, so clear, white, and black, or metallics, which is gold, silver, and copper. And copper is like my favorite for fall. I love using it in the fall. Okay, so don't forget your embossing buddy, or you're going to get powder stick in places you don't want it to. And then we're going to link up our Merry Christmas with the Versamark. Okay, and we'll center on this piece, which is 4.5 by 2.5. And we'll center it. And with the photopolymer stamps, right, like it's easy to get it nice and centered there. More or less straight. Except that I did not no, I can see. Okay, I don't know if you can tell. You can't tell. I did not push it hard enough, like I said the first time. Remember how I said I wasn't pushing in the center? So we're gonna just flip it over. That's what you do. It's okay to make a mistake. I'm gonna flip it over. Flip it over, grab that embossing buddy again. Ink it up again. I find usually the glass mat is good enough to get even pressure, but you could use like a little, like the foam pad or whatever. On big stamps, you want to make sure you're pushing to make contact even in the center. So I wasn't catching one of the parts there, I could tell. Okay, hopefully I got that this time. That looks better. Okay, and then you can just dump your powder on. Give it a light tap. And then make sure you've got it everywhere you want it. Looks like I got it some places I don't want it. This is where you've got to protect your perfectionist self. I'm going to have to leave that. One little thing. Okay, so then we're going to just clean this up so I don't blow gold powder everywhere. So I just used scrap paper, folded it in half, so I've got a crease here to work with. And then I'll just dump it back in there. Grab our tongs again, and then we're going to heat set this one. So remember, you have to go to number 2. And then we just let it warm up. Okay, there we go. And embossing is always satisfying, so it doesn't get old. It's always fun to watch it change and get all shiny and beautiful, and then it just looks professional, even though you're making it at home. And so just to tie into the gold theme, I'm going to mat this onto some of our gold foil. So this is 1/8 of an inch bigger again, so it's going to be 5 1/8 by 2 5/8. Okay, so I have an email mailing list, and every Friday I send out a newsletter. I send emails throughout the week, but on Fridays I send out a newsletter, and in it I have a PDF related to what I make on Thursdays, and it has all the dimensions in it. So if you're not on my email list, you can sign up for that, and then you get like a PDF reference, and there I've got all my accurate dimensions. Although I do try to make sure that I explain it all to you here while we're creating it. So this is looking good, this color combo. We're going to grab our dimensionals again, just to set it off the card. So simple things you can do to elevate your cards. Add shine or texture. So with the embossing, with an embossing folder, with the velvet paper, right? So now I've got 3 different textures on here, and so it's just kind of amping up the style of this card, even though the card itself is pretty simple. And then I'm going to anchor it onto that velvet. You could center yours. I always tend to like mine a little off center. And we're going to go back to our sequins, and I'm going to use the gold ones obviously this time. So I'll put 2 up there, and I'll put 1 down here. It's also green. It's a little bit of a brighter green, but that would work too. All right, and this is our second card. Using that awesome Merry Christmas stamp. Don't you just love the S's? Like, they're so pretty. It's like classic, right? Like the font of a Christmas movie or something like that. All right, so that's the second one. So the third one, now we're going to go back into our red and green. And so I had to find a way to work in plaid. I love plaid. Any other plaid people out there? So I'm going to add this pattern on the bottom. So this is 5.5 by 2. Again, with the 6x6 DSP, I want to make sure I'm cutting it in a way that makes sense to how I can use it on my card, so I can get more than 1 card out of 1 piece of DSP. And this is going edge to edge again. If you don't like that, then you can just mat your paper and bring it in. That would be easier to line up. So this time we are going to stamp on real red. And I am going to clean this up so that we can use the tray again. So I just kind of like tap it. You unscrew it, dump it back into your container, dump it all over your table because you missed. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you do things on a video. You're way messier than you are in real life. That was uncoordinated. All right. I got a garbage right there. We're good. We're good. Craft spaces are supposed to be messy, right? And you can like brush that out and wipe it out with a paper towel if you're changing between colors and stuff. But between clear and white, I should be all right. And then I've got a little bit of white left in this guy. So this is full length. So it is 5.5 by 2.5. 5.5 by 2.5. So it's going to go the full width of the card. And we want to use our embossing buddy again. Grab everything. And if you find like your embossing powder isn't sticking or it doesn't look right when you're heat setting it, your Versamark just might not be juicy enough. So you can, if you've had it for a while, get a re-inker and re-ink it up to make it nice and juicy. Okay, so we're going to center this one, and I'm going to remember to push down this time, make good contact. Hopefully that's good. And then this time, because I'm going edge to edge with the piece I'm stamping on, it has like a different look in a sense from the other ones that I mat on a different piece of paper. Okay, so that looks good. If you're happy with your coverage, then you can go and heat set it. So this is the last time you're gonna have to watch me do this, but wanted to show you kind of all the different ways to do your embossing. One more time. You kind of see it changing. Yeah. So if you were making a whole bunch of Christmas cards, say you're making 5 or 10 or whatever of these ones, you can stamp them, get the powder on, and set them aside, and then do your heat setting all at once so that your heat tool, you don't have to heat it up every single time. So that's kind of a way to get it moving a bit faster. And so this time we're going to bring in some soft sea foam again. So you could mat this and have a full piece of soft sea foam behind, or if you want to just use smaller pieces of cardstock, you can just cut strips like I've done here. So the strips are 5.5 by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to put adhesive first on the back of the real red. And then I just kind of eyeball it. I just want a little bit, probably like 1/8 of an inch, I guess, peeking out. And then if they're not quite, I have embossing powder everywhere. If it's kind of peeking out, then I can trim it to size now. And then I just go ahead and put adhesive on the back of the whole thing. And then because this is going top to bottom, edge to edge, I am going to fold my card so that I can make sure I get it in the right spot. So that I get it right to the top. And I get all this extra powder off there. So I basically, no white is showing. I'm going right to the top of the card. And then it just has a different look, right? When it's, when it's like all the way across. So I love this one too. And then I was thinking, okay, so a simple detail to add to this one, just basically go through your stash, whatever dies you have that say have Christmas greenery or something in it. This is from, oh, it's called that, Christmas greenery. So those dies that go with the traditions of Christmas sweets. So these ones here. And I just cut out 2 holly leaves in garden green cardstock. And do I want to put them? I think I actually want to put them on mini dimensionals. So I'm just going to grab some of those. And then if you want to ever step up your card, just add a little bit of twine. I'm usually adding twine. It's like the joke with my classes. I'm always adding twine to like all my cards. So that's an easy way to step things up. I just kind of like, say 8 to 10 inches. Probably 8 inches. And then fold it, kind of loop it back and forth. So it kind of looks like a bow, and then I just stick it in a glue dot in the middle, and then I'm just going to set it kind of, and I always use my fingernails, but you can take your pick tool too. That'll help you out. And then I just kind of set it there, and then we're going to put our mini dimensionals on here, and then we're wrapping this fun thing up. Oh, I was going to have my tag box here so you could see. So last week I made this fun little tag box, which really got really great feedback. So if you didn't see last week's video, go check it out. So I made a little tag box, but it would match these cards really great. And then I made 2 sets of tags. So you could have everything all matchy. I feel like I probably didn't want dimensionals on all. Let's see how this plays out. So I'm just going to put one on, and then I think I'm actually going to peel this guy off. And then put a glue dot on so that it's not too puffy where I don't want it to be puffy. Oh, it didn't work. There we go. Okay, so we'll just layer that up, and then it needs berries. So the dies do have little berries, so you can cut out berries. or you can use your little sequins. So I think I'm going to use the big one and the too small one. And if they're not sticking enough, I was finding yesterday when I was playing around, when they're sitting on each other, they needed to be a little extra sticky. You could put them in a glue dot and then give them a little extra stickiness. There is our third Christmas card. So I hope these give you some fun ideas. If you don't have this Merry Christmas stamp, I mean, it is great. It's going to be such a staple, right? You can use that all the time. It's never going to be at a trend or anything. And like I said, it takes the full, it is the start of your card. So you're not going to have to add a lot of details. So here are your 3 ideas and 3 different ways that you can emboss too and kind of just step up your project a little bit. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here. If you took the time to watch the replay, I really appreciate that too. You can always say hi and leave a comment. You can like and subscribe to my channel. That's always really appreciated. And if you're ever looking for more information, you can find me at my website, which is loritamariecrafts.ca. And you can check out my current classes, or you can even purchase past tutorials and see what else is going on in the Stampin' Up! World. So stay tuned next week for some more Christmas projects. We're still in Christmas mode, and I can't wait to share those ones with you. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.